Call to order. May we have a roll call?
Hi, good evening. Commissioner Bottenberg.
Present.
Commissioner Annan. Commissioner Banak.
Present.
Commissioner Martin.
Present.
Commissioner Varnes.
Present.
Commissioner Mishra. And Chair Saad, Commissioner Rahman is currently abroad, and the youth representative Audrey sent her apologies. She's not able to attend today.
Thank you. We'll do is lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good. Now, next we have the approval of agenda. Do I hear an motion?
I'll move the approval of the agenda. I second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Next, we'll look at the approval of the minutes from June. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I can approve the minutes.
Okay. Any second? Good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? They are approved. Rita, do we have any public comment?
Chair Banak, let me just check. Mike will check.
Yes, if there's anybody online for public comment, if you could please hit the raise hand button. I will go ahead and unmute anyone who hits the raise hand button for public comment. Okay, I do not see any attendees that have raised their hand, so there's nobody here in the room with us. So I do not believe we have any comment tonight, Chair Banak.
Thank you. So, we have no online comments, no verbal comments. Next, we're looking at new business. The 2025 through 2026 grant application review, basic needs.
Hey, Chair, so this evening we're going to be doing the basic needs review of applications. So that's going to be happening tonight, and then tonight we're going to be reviewing the basic needs applications and then beginning final discussion for final recommendations. And at our next meeting, so in August we have a recess, we do not meet, and in September the 11th we will develop the final recommendation for City Council. So before you should have a spreadsheet with all the applications listed with the requested amount and then the subgroup's recommendation. So we'll be going through those in the order of the requested amount. So for the first one, we're going to go to We Care. This is a new application providing business support to childcare providers, and has marketing support, curriculum management support, etc. I'll pass it over to the commissioners.
Hi, I can take that. So We Care had requested 144K, and the recommendation from the commission is 0 for now. The program was the Boost program, which was targeted towards coaching the childcare coach, and the main area where the services will be provided was not Sammamish. Not many Sammamish residents were impacted by the service as well. And yeah, that's anything else you would want to add?
No, Mary. Pardon me? Anything else to add?
Any other points you would like?
Oh, no, I
Okay.
agree. I agree.
It looked like it was more geared toward business, at least from what I'm seeing here. So that would make sense that we wouldn't fund that.
I read it as that they were in Bellevue only last year, And it was pretty much, I think, CDBG funding, federal funding, so that they wanted to expand. But again, like you noticed, there's nobody from Sammamish.
And also, can I add, I don't believe they're a 501c3. So any other questions, or shall I move on to the next slide? Okay. Okay, the next slide is St. Vincent de Paul, Mary Queen of Peace, providing rental assistance to low-income Sammamish residents and also for utility bills. And they have an all-volunteer staff.
Yeah, for St. Vincent de Paul of Seattle, KC, they had requested 40K, and the commission has decided to go ahead with 40K, the requested amount. We have seen the impact of this organization on the local Sammamish, and we also feel that it actually has a widespread impact on many of the locals. And all of the amount which is requested is going towards the actual work, and not towards the salaries or anything else. So yeah, we feel really towards the work which the association is doing there.
Any other questions before I move on? Okay. And the next one is Friends of Youth, the Willows Youth Service Centre. This used to be known as The Landing and used to be in Redmond at the Together Centre. They have a new location in Kirkland, and this is the only emergency shelter for young adults between 18 and 24 experiencing homelessness on the east side. And they also have case management services.
So they requested 30,000, and in the previous grant, we had given them 30,000. This is one of those programs where, there might not be a lot of Sammamish residents served, but it's a sort of a regional good. And we decided that the services were unique and it's a basic need. So that is how we came to granting them 30,000.
Okay, so moving on. The next one is Issaquah Community Services. This is for emergency financial assistance for residents that live in the Issaquah School District area, and they also pay towards rent and utilities. So they're also an organization that we've previously funded.
Yes, and we thought that this was definitely a group we wanted to continue to support. We had previously given them 20,000. They asked for 30,000 this year, so we just split the difference. And we did want to increase it, but not quite the big jump. So we went for 25, and it's a group we're happy to support.
I
Definitely
noticed that's a pretty close count to the number of people, Sammamish residents served by St. Vincent. We're projecting 249 versus St. Vincent's 233.
Any other comments?
So you're comparing the 40,000 to St. Vincent to the 25 to Issaquah Food Bank?
Right.
Can I just sort of also just mention, like St. Vincent will cover the whole of Sammamish, and Issaquah Community Services is just confined to the 98075 and 98029 zip code.
For the district, the school district area.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm just talking about the number of individuals served,
Mhm.
similar counts.
It's quite a few people for just being in that school district.
Mhm.
That's quite a bit.
It's about half a Sammamish.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next one is Sophia Way for Helen's Place. emergency shelter and day centre in Kirkland for women, providing 24/7, 365 days services, and also access to case management.
Okay, so the Sophia Way for the Helen's Place is a well-known shelter for women and children. I'm not that impactful in Sammamish, but it is again something for the regional good because we don't have a women's shelter specifically in Sammamish, and they do have impact for Sammamish residents as well. Last year, we awarded them with 15K. This time the ask is 30K, and similar to the Issaquah Community Services, we're doing 25K for them.
Do they provide their own mental health professionals or do they outsource, you know?
I think they do.
They have case management, so that
I didn't know if they were part of it or whether they just outsourced to a different.
Okay, any other questions before I move on? Okay, next one is Imagine Housing. They provide affordable rental housing located in Sammamish, and that's the Highland Park. They also have a resident case manager and also provide trainings and workshops for residents that live there.
And this is a group providing both case management, information and referral, basic needs supplies, community events, and serving people who are earning 30,000 a year and below. I mean, they are really reaching some low income levels, and that's great. I think that's something we definitely want to support. And their outcome, looking at 90% of their clients served will maintain stable housing. So if they can reach that, that's really good. It looks like they're projected to serve 130 Sammamish residents with basic needs and 250 with case management. Looks like last time they served 184 Sammamish residents, and they're looking to serve 190, I believe. So they had asked, they were 25,000 last year. They asked for 26. We just remained at 25.
Any questions? Okay. And the next one is Washington Autism Alliance. This is a new application connecting youth on the autism spectrum to medical, behavioral, and residential programs, and also providing training workshops and navigator programs.
Yeah, for this one, the Washington Autism Alliance, we felt that there was a lack of direct service in the grant and or in the services which were described in the grant. Slightly, the services are towards lobbying. So for now, we have gone ahead with 0, although the ask was for 22.8K. For now, the commission has gone for 0.
Okay, moving on. Essence Health and Research Foundation Lift Up campaign, a new application for healthcare services for low-income individuals, collaborating with a healthcare provider to find root causes of physical and mental health conditions, medical nutrition therapy kits, and emergency nutrition and crisis kits.
Excuse me. So they requested 20,000. We have not funded this program in the past, and we decided not to fund it again this time. The key reasons being that, while we agree that, healthcare is a basic need, we felt like the program was a little bit too far-reaching and outside of the basic need of basic medical care. And given that there just seems to be a lot of conditions and things that are trying to be treated in this program, and it wasn't focused enough. So we recommended zero funding.
Okay, any questions before I move on? Okay, the next one is FS and the Health and Research Foundation Goals for Health Program. And this is providing healthcare services for individuals with chronic disease, trauma, and addiction conditions. And they serve the folks that do not qualify for the Lift Up program at a discounted rate. And these services offered are not covered by medical insurance.
They also requested 20,000 for this program, and we have not funded this program in the past either. Again, we felt like the scope of the program was not, dialed in enough. And while we agree that a lot of these, that healthcare is a basic need, again, we have other funding for other programs that are more dialed into basic healthcare. So we decided to not fund this program either.
Okay, any questions before I move on? Okay, thank you. Next one, it's the Sequoia Food and Clothing Bank. Traditionally, a Sequoia Food and Clothing Bank have always provided one application for funding, but this year they've had two applications. The first one is for food services. This is for low barrier access to food and clothing for residents in the Issaquah School District area. They also have a Groceries to Grow program and a mobile food bank. And emergency food is also available.
So this is one that has been supported in the past, and one that we want to continue to support. Definitely direct service, food available at, in a market style shopping, our Groceries to Go, where they have food delivery, and food being definitely a basic need. They asked, there was 20,000 last year, and we recommend to give them 20,000 again this year.
Any questions?
Are they doing clothing? I
Yes.
thought that was closed down.
Well, they've said in their application there's clothing, so I believe so, but that's not one of the service units though. Yeah.
But that's in a separate application, the clothing.
The clothing, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so moving on, Sophia Way. This is the second application from these Sophia Ways. This was Sophia's Place, 24/7 extended shelter for 21 women, extensive case management, mental health and substance abuse support, and also their most successful programming in exiting women from shelter to permanent housing.
Okay, so the Sophia Way, Sophia's Place, similar to Helen's Place, providing similar kind of services specifically for women and children. They had been awarded 15K last time, and they've requested 20K this time, and we have gone ahead with 20K.
Okay, moving along, this is Kindring Families in Transition program to help young children experiencing homelessness and their families, infant mental health resources, therapeutic play groups, and parent coaching.
So this is support for children and families with unstable housing, or they have been homeless. Really a strong need here that we wanted to support. They had been at 3,000, I believe. They asked for 13,000, and we recommended 4.
That's another one of those regional goods.
Mhm. Yes, I think there was one Sammamish resident, or 1 or 4 Sammamish residents served, but definitely serving the region.
Okay, The next one is HopeLink emergency food for households making 400% of the federal poverty level, twice a month visits for qualifying households, and also an emergency bag program and home delivery for homebound individuals.
Let's see, I might want to make sure that, yeah, HopeLink, this is one of a couple of their applications. This one is food. They are a well-funded agency. They serve a lot of people through their markets, mobile market, home delivery, and as well as emergency food. Food is a basic need. We did see that they served 163 Sammamish residents previously, and they aim to serve or project 200 Sammamish residents to be served in this round. And so we recommended 10,000.
Okay, moving along, Medical Teams International for a mobile dental clinic, new application for persons living under 200% of the federal poverty level and uninsured, and providing exams, x-rays, fillings, and extractions.
Okay, so Medical Teams International Mobile Dental Clinic. We really felt that this was a very nice idea of a mobile dental clinic and providing the services which is usually not available for people below a certain poverty line. Somehow we didn't feel the connection with Sammamish directly as having a mobile dental van, or where would we be having it, or exactly who would be the recipients of the service here. So for now, although the request was for 12K, we have gone with 0 this time.
Any questions? Okay, moving along. This is Kindring Childcare and Preschool Consultation, a new application offering support services to caregivers and early learning professionals, and also supporting children experiencing trauma, disability or developmental delays, working in childcare centres, family homes and preschools.
So what they do is they want to keep children who have experienced trauma and have difficult behaviors, which may make them difficult to be in a childcare situation, may be disruptive. It's so important for the parents to have good childcare as well as for the child, so the parents can work and things don't cycle down by a loss of a job because of loss of a childcare slot. So they work very hard at keeping children in their preschool or childcare centers, and it's definitely a basic need. We felt it was important. It's a new grant. They haven't been funded before. They asked for 11,000, and we recommended 5.
Do they provide any mental health to the kids or any mental health services?
Well, this is yes, I believe so. This says they help the kids with mental health and trauma, those with limited English, with the outcome being that the children are able to stay in preschool or childcare and
It's more of a consulting organization.
Pardon me?
They have therapies, they do educational consulting, it's a technical assistance. So I don't know if it's hands-on mental health.
Hmm.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, moving along. This is I can never say this. This used to be Catholic Community Services, and it's now Archdiocesan Housing Authority. Why can I not say that word? And so we funded them before. This is for the only shelter on the east side for families experiencing homelessness. It's located in Kirkland, and also has case management and on-site behavioral health and substance use counselling.
So they requested 10,000 this cycle, and we had granted them 10,000 in the previous cycle. As Rita said, they're the only shelter like this on the east side for families. Their projection for serving Sammamish residents was low, but it is one of those regional good type of grant. And so that's why we decided to give them the 10,000 they asked for.
Okay. Moving along. Health Point Dental Care, serving low-income clients have insurance barriers for dental care. Location is in Redmond, and we have previously funded this program.
So they requested 10,000 and we had granted them 10,000 in the last cycle. They provide diagnostic preventative care, which, leads to better health outcomes. And so we decided that this is an important program to fund. In the previous cycle, they had served 149 residents.
Any questions? Okay, moving right along. Issaquah Food and Clothing Bank. This is for case management services. This is a new application from them for this. Traditionally, they've only ever given us one application, and this is for assistance to clients to navigate systems and offering clients referrals for organizations outside of food. So such things as transportation, rental assistance, and access to counseling.
Do they have their own counselors?
They have their own case management folks there. I don't know if it's counselors, but I know they have case managers there.
Yes, so this is outside of food. Yes, clothing, moving costs, bus tickets, mail service, case management, cell phones, just all those little things that people in need can receive quickly. It being new, they have served 22 Sammamish residents. They're projecting to serve 29, and we recommended 5,000.
Okay, any questions? All right, moving along. Essential First community kits providing hygiene and cleaning items for low-income families. Information referral provided and distributed through school districts, non-profits, and faith-based groups.
So they requested 8,750. We had granted them 5,000 in the previous cycle. They cited the, increasing cost for supplies as the reason for the increase. It's a unique program, and they get a lot of word of mouth referrals through partnerships. They work with refugee organizations, and we felt that it was an important program to continue to fund because they're serving a unique need. And so we recommended 8,750.
Okay, moving along. Washington Poison Center. And this is free medical assistance 24/7 on the phone to people exposed to toxic substances or hazardous substances. And they also have educational programs for the community.
Okay, the Washington Poison Center, mostly to create awareness about different poisons, and in case someone has been, especially a child, has been in contact with any poison, they expect you to call them and then they will provide some assistance. We found that there was a lack of awareness about this center, first of all, because if someone is at a situation which is maybe a life-threatening situation or even a poison, exposure to poison, 911 would be the first, dial contact which a person would dial into. We did not find any direct Sammamish implications as such, like no Sammamish resident was, not many Sammamish residents were directly impacted. So although they had asked for $8,735, for now the commission recommends 0.
Any questions?
We gave them 2,500 last time.
Yep.
There were over 211 people this last biennial. You had, were they also ones that were not able to fulfill their statistics and all?
No, I believe they're able to fulfill their resident numbers. I think also the commission looked at the repertoire of funding that they have. They definitely have a massive portfolio and they receive a lot of federal funding. And I think, and I'm not speaking for the commission, but I think they felt like if they didn't fund this organization, they would still carry on and still be able to provide those services. Okay, any other questions? All right, next one is Kid Vantage. It used to be known as Eastside Baby Corner, providing low-income critical needs for families with infants and children. And they also do a lot of volunteering as well and partner with local agencies.
So, yeah, we've all heard of Eastside Baby Corner. Now I have to remember the new name. I liked their two outcomes is that outcome one is, 85% of the clients will report the services helped them in stressful situations by providing basic needs for their children: diapers, clothing, car seats, bedding, toys, cribs. And number two, the agencies, the partner agencies, it helps them to create stronger bonds with the clients because they can meet their needs. So, and they don't require any more additional paperwork, anything. Partner agency says, we've got a need for a crib, here it is. So that's something we wanted to support. They were previously at 6,084. They asked for 8,420, and we recommended 8,000 because that's an even number.
Yeah.
Okay, can you believe we're more than halfway through applications? Woohoo. Next one is Health Point Medical Care. They're located in Redmond, medical services for low-income residents.
This round of funding, they asked for 8,000 and we had granted them 8,000 in the previous cycle. This is a basic need, is basic medical care. And they did serve 245 Sammamish resident visits, which was 162 residents. So definitely people from Sammamish are using and accessing these services. So we felt it was important to fund.
Okay, any questions? Moving along, Lake Washington Schools Foundation pantry packs, providing weekly food for children in Lake Washington School District, and also a volunteer leadership team run program.
Oh, sorry. Yes, these are pantry packs for the kids in the Lake Washington School District. Food packs given out on Fridays to kids in the Lake Washington School District. When they are recommended by teachers, parents, staff, or students can request a pantry pack to get the kids who are in need of food for themselves and their family through the weekend. Their outcome, 95% of every child who needs food will get it. It's all volunteer driven. 84 Sammamish residents served with these pantry packs, and they project to serve 92 coming up. So we recommended $7,500 for them, which is what
But that's only Mead Elementary, isn't it?
Sorry, that covers all of Lake Washington School Districts. So that's just one elementary school. It would cover all the elementary schools and the middle and the high school. We do know that by high school, kids are reluctant to like have a pantry pack put in their backpack because they're a little bit more self-conscious. But no, it covers all the schools where it's needed, and that's informed by the counselors at the school.
And that's during the school year only, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So what happens in the summertime?
They actually have a summer. It wouldn't be pantry packs, but I know they have a summer program. Okay, any other questions? Right. Next is Porchlight, used to be known as Congregations for Homeless. Everyone is having a name change. I think I'm going to do the same for myself. Porchlight Enhanced Shelter, we've funded them before, 24/7 men's shelter, on-site resources and case management provided.
Yeah, the Porchlight Enhanced Shelter, this is direct basic needs provided directly. It is one of the shelters which is big enough to have cater to 125 men at the same time. This is one of the well-known shelters. We have funded them before. The ask is very minimal comparatively, like it's 7,200, and the commission has decided to go with the complete 7,200 for now.
Thank you. Okay. Next one is Redmond Toddler Group. This is a new application for affordable early childhood education for families in the Redmond area. Scholarships provided. They are hoping to provide administrative support, and they're looking for a new location.
So the Redmond Toddler Group, as the name suggests, located and serves the Redmond area predominantly. It is catering to a group which is like the early childhood education. The purpose was a little scattered. We thought all over the grant, like what exactly are they trying to provide in that section of childhood. No Sammamish residents are directly impacted. So for now, the ask was $6,687, and for now we have decided to go with 0.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Next one is Bridge Disability Ministries. We have provided funding for them before. They provide refurbished medical and mobility equipment, no application process, and a low barrier access point for low income folks with disabilities.
So in the previous cycle, we funded them 5,000. They requested 6,000 in this cycle. We decided that this is a basic need. They provide mobility for people who can't afford, equipment. And like Rita said, there's no payment required. You just donate what you can. And so we felt it was important to fund this this program.
Okay. Moving along, Friends of Youth, Transitional Living. It's the only transitional housing program in East King County to serve young adults. Also, case management is provided, as well as employment, education, and mental health.
They requested 6,000, and that's the same that we granted them in the previous cycle. We felt it was unique in that it's transitional housing in East King County for young adults, and there aren't many programs like that. And we felt it was important as part of the region to fund services for transitional youth living.
Okay, moving along, HopeLink Housing. This is to provide 19 units of emergency shelter, 51 units of transitional housing, and 35 units of permanent housing. Also case management and access to all HopeLink services.
So we had funded them previously at 53. 5,500. They asked 5,463. We recommended 5,400. Again, this is housing, very much a basic need, different styles, but emergency, transitional, and some permanent housing. I don't believe any Sammamish residents were served in the emergency housing, but there were 627 nights in transitional or permanent housing, I believe, and some in case management as well. $5,400 seems like a really low amount for something as important as housing.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Martin. Okay. Moving along, Essentials First World Food Programming, providing access to culturally specific food, and gift cards provided for local ethnic stores and aimed at low-income residents and new refugees.
So this is a unique program in that, it's providing culturally relevant food and gift cards to stores that provide that type of food. We granted them 5,000 last time. They requested 5,000 this time, but they were not able to meet their service units this last time. So we recommended, we like the program. We think it's important, but we recommended 2,000 for this cycle. Something probably closer to what they could achieve.
Great, any questions? All right. Next one is Essentials First again, the volume distribution program. This is providing local food banks access to essential hygiene items, and they distribute household and personal hygiene items quarterly to families.
This program, excuse me, we granted them 5,000 the last go round, and they requested 5,000 this cycle as well. It's unique in that they buy the hygiene and household products to give to local food banks. They have a backlog list of food banks who'd like to participate, and so we see that there is a need. So we recommended there to grant the request of 5,000.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I'm a chat show host. Okay, next one is Housing Connector, Housing for All. This is a new application providing access to long-term housing for families. And this is unique in that they offer a financial guarantee to landlords to encourage lower screening criteria, and 2 years of housing stability support is provided.
This was one that was new. It was a little bit difficult to understand exactly what they were doing. Basically, the way we understood it is it's technology to help people find housing. Hoping to help them find affordable housing. Because it was a little bit difficult for us to understand, perhaps it might be for others also. And also, as well as, is there a need? Is there a real demand for this service? There were 10 Sammamish residents that had signed up. One family was served or used this service to find housing, but we're not really convinced of its need, and that it was worth their ask of $5,000. So we did not recommend any funding at this time.
Any questions? Next is MAPS MCRC, the Food and Gas Distribution Program, offering emergency assistant cards, redeemable for food and gas, and also in need of sustenance. Yeah, so it's for food and transportation.
So they have been a previous partner that we have funded at 5,000 last biennium. Definitely a direct service providing immediate gas cards, food, what is needed. we did give them a little less than they asked because they didn't quite hit their goals of last year for residents served. So we thought that 4,000 was probably a little more in line with the numbers that they were finding coming to them for help.
Okay. Next one is MAPS MCRC again, and this is for information referral resources, 24/7 walk-in, call-in information and referral, also helping those with cultural and language barriers, and they have an office in the Together Centre in Redmond.
So again, this is the MCRC, that stands for
Muslim Community Resource
Muslim
Centre.
Community Resource Center.
Yes,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
And MAPS is the
Muslim
Muslim
Association of Puget
Association
Sound.
of Puget Sound, a
yeah.
very big community mosque over there behind Whole Foods in Redmond. Their office is at the Together Center, so they're definitely in the middle of the needs there. Providing culturally competent resource and referral support. So 25 Sammamish residents served in the last biennium. Their outcome is that 75% of the clients get access to the services that they need through their help. So we recommended funding them again at 5,000.
And anybody who walks in the door is helped. You don't have to be MAPS.
No, oh no, definitely, right. They're very open to all.
And just so Commissioner Bottenberg, none of who we fund is specifically for that group.
Right.
Anybody for anything, whether they're Muslim or Asian or anything else, they'll be able to, and that's the case for all our organizations. They may gear towards certain groups, but they're always open to any group. Yeah.
So DePaul, to anybody who walks in the door can be helped.
100%. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, whatever Nikki touches is good.
All right, next one is Friends of Youth Employment. This is a new program working with young folks experiencing homelessness, individualized support from case managers, and employment opportunities through agency subsidized paid internships.
So this program requested $3,750, and we recommend funding that amount. I guess the importance of teaching youth employment skills so that they can remain employed, helps to keep them out of homelessness. And yeah, we just felt it was important for us to support this type of program to actually help youth stay employed and living in stable housing where possible.
Do they have classes teaching, young people to, balance a checkbook or something like that?
I don't know if they have that type of specific class, but they have things like Job Club where they teach them, interview skills or how to run, how to work in an environment.
Okay.
Do you know, Rita, if they have specific financial?
I actually do not know the specifics of that now.
Another regional good.
Yes.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. Next one's King County Bar Association, providing low-income residents with free legal consultation, and also for residents facing eviction, and they have neighborhood legal clinics.
That is something that has been funded before. Free legal services definitely needed. Legal advice on domestic violence, immigration, eviction, custody, employee rights. They do clinics, they do phone advice, some in person, some kind of a hybrid online. Their outcomes that 85% of their clients will have a better understanding of their legal resources and understanding of the issue. They served 58 Sammamish residents in the last biennium, from what I see. So seems like a really important and a good service that we recommended supporting at 3,000.
Any questions? Next one is porch lights, also known as congregations for homeless, year-round shelter for 30 men experiencing homelessness, a navigation team to help men suffering from experiencing homelessness, and also access to medical substance abuse and mental health support.
For the rotating shelter, it's a night shelter for men. They come in, they're provided clean beds, and they leave in the morning. So the ask was $3,000. We feel, sorry, am I reading it right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ask was $3,000. And again, for the regional good, we have gone ahead to give them $3,000.
Okay. Next, we also have porch light again, and this is for housing, 70 units of permanent housing for men, transitioning for homelessness to stable living, and residents have to pay rent equal to 30% of their income.
Okay, so for the Porchlight housing as well, again, a basic need. They do transition men into stable permanent housing. Eventually, they do provide case management services. The ask is minimal in comparison to the others, and it is 2,500 they asked for, and we have gone ahead with giving them 2,500.
Okay. Next one is Assistance League, Operation School Bell. This is for low-income families in the Lake Washington School District, providing gift cards to purchase food, clothing, school supplies.
This program requested $2,300, and in the previous cycle, we had given them $2,000. And again, this is a unique program where it's all volunteer run, and they provide Fred Meyer gift cards directly to families in need so they can go shop and buy the things that they need. So we felt it was important to continue to support this program. So we recommended granting 2,300.
Okay, last but not least, Pride Across the Bridge, a new application for outreach and support for the LGBTQIA+ community. And it's for an Eastside specific resource guide.
Yeah, so for Pride Across the Bridge, what they provide is something called as the Big Book of all things queer, which is all the resources which probably LGBTQIA+ community may require or may search for. It's all in one place. So this can be a very, very useful guide, but we felt that there was a lack of direct service there. And hence, although the request was for 2,000, this time we have gone with recommending 0.
Okay, and that concludes. I'm going to quickly put the last slide on. That concludes the application review. Can I just thank all the commissioners in all the subgroups? It's been great working with you all, and Mike and I are just so impressed by your efficiency and your thoroughness and your dedication. So thank you so much.
And thank you for your support, Rita.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Chair, we're going to be bringing up a spreadsheet showing the breakdown of all the requests from all the subgroups. So Mike's bringing up, the subgroup recommendation, and there's a breakdown on all the areas, and it's for $717,358. The magic number that we have to get to is $682,736. Now, the 682,000 is the what we allocated last go around, and that was what we had asked you as commissioners to try and hit. So that is a grand difference of 34,000 something. So to try and get to that number, Chair, I'm gonna we can, yeah.
So, so basically, is one thought we had is that, if we cut everybody by 4.9%, that would bring us in within the numbers. Or the other option is we kind of go through line by line to figure out, who can we reduce for about, 35,000. So, at least my thought is if you can show us the numbers.
Of course, yeah. So Mike and I worked on this, and to get to that magic number, look at Mike. He's doing a reveal. Woohoo! Look at this. This is one he made earlier. I know I told you you'd be dazzled by his Excel prowess, and so if you look in the first column, it's we figured out 4.9%, and then rounded on the right hand side. So that gets us to rounded, gets us to 683,000. So that gets us to our number that we need to get to. And if you can look down, if you just Mike's going to scroll through, this is how it will impact all the grants that you've allocated. So obviously the larger ones aren't impacted too much. Smaller ones are going to be impacted a little bit more, but that's been distributed throughout all the subgroups. We've peanut buttered it, according to Mike. Yeah.
So I think the question comes up is for the commission is, do we just want to go with a 4.9% reduction through everybody? Or do we want to kind of just discuss reducing on specific?
Or
What-
do we want to do what the council asked of us the last biennial was, what would you really want to do? What else should we help? And have that extra ask.
And I think that was the idea was that we present here's based on the money you've given us, but we have these extra things that we would like to add.
Correct, another column.
Right, the
Mhm.
35,000 saying is that, we think these are all deserving and we would request an additional 35,000.
Or 130,000. What were the numbers last time, Mike? What the budget was compared to the extra ask. It was considerably, it didn't meet their budget. It went way over and they kept asking, is there more you want? Is there more you want?
I don't have the numbers offhand. I believe it was somewhere in the realm of a 50% increase from the prior biennium. In the time since, the council has gone through a fiscal sustainability planning process. And I do know that, departments within the city have been given direction to kind of scrub their budgets and make them a little bit tighter and more realistic.
But
And
my property tax went up 2,000.
Right. The city's portion of property tax is quite small when they consider all the different taxing districts. We take the 1% every year typically. But so that's what I'll say is that, the commission did ask for and did receive quite a large increase in the last biennium. The budget cycle coming into 25-26, I think is going to be a little bit tighter. I do think council will still, certain council members at least, will still ask, was there anything additional that the commission would recommend? I think at a baseline, going with what all of you recommended as part of your subgroups as being that additional ask is a good recommendation. But, Rita and I are at your service if there is anything additional. Rita, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would say again, this is for you as a commission, you've all deliberated in your groups and, and looked at and deep dived into the applications. And so, with the 4.9 reduction, you've got to that magic number. And so if there was to be, and I think in the agenda bill, we will show that the original number was 717, the commission worked and did their due diligence to get to that 683. And so if there was an additional ask, it would make sense to say okay, the 717 is our additional ask. But yeah, that's up to you as a commission.
If we don't ask,
Right. So do we want to go out? We'll say, well, here's the numbers based on the amount of money you've got at that point. If you're willing to fund an extra 5%, here's all the, what we can do. So we just ask for a 5% increase, which seems reasonable.
Yes, you can kind of like maybe say that, we'll be able to like fully fund a program as opposed to like, partially fund a program. Um,
Last time the city council seemed very open, especially when we talked about mental health. They were very open to even funding beyond what the ask was, so.
And many of what you find in the cultural and the basic needs belongs in mental health too.
So
Domestic violence and homelessness, yeah.
is there a way we can come back and then do the reduction if the council does not approve that 5% increase? Or is that final?
So Commissioner Mishra, so if we provide that 4.9 reduction, they will approve that because we've been tasked to like get to what we like achieved last go round. So the 683 will be approved because we've had all indication that they will absolutely be okay with us coming at that number. The additional ask is, as a commission, it's up to you guys. They can say yes, they can say no. But the 683 would be
Yeah,
a
no, what I
given.
was hoping is with the additional ask, we just present that. If they say no, then we come back and then we see where do we want to reduce or do we want to apply the 4.9 standard reduction to everyone?
You could do that. I would say, I mean, again, it's up to the commission to like go through and like the 4.9 is kind of like an equal distribution throughout all the grants, and to then sort of cherry pick and like it's up to you. It may be a little bit more difficult to try and say, okay, this one we keep, this one we don't keep. But again, that's up to you as a commission.
Yeah, I mean, my personal vote is to cherry pick because for people who need the money, every dollar counts. And although it would be a little hard work on the commission itself and probably an unpopular vote too, but I would want to cherry pick if at all the original ask of 717.358K is not approved by the city council. So my recommendation is we first go to the city council, we request them for the original ask,
Yeah.
which is like 717. And if that is turned down, then we cherry pick instead of applying the standard 4.9 to everyone.
Yeah, the only thing is we have a real time crunch. So we have one meeting to present and we're not going to be able to go back to council. So I think it's like a one and done. So, we'll work with the commission to like, have an agenda bill and have a presentation. And so I hear what you're saying, Commissioner Mishra, but then to get back on, like we need to sort of get it, because I think we're due to go to council in October.
Got it. So
Yeah.
it's just one chance
It's
and
a
you
one
present
chance.
both the
Yeah,
options and
yeah.
they pick
Bleach
which
your
one.
teeth
Okay.
and have some soft lighting and it's a one chance. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so I like this, like, hey, this is what we originally wanted, but there is a hidden column which Mike did, like, okay, if you don't like that, there is a hidden column, we just show it
Yeah.
with a reduction. But again, we need to vote between, do we want to cherry pick that reduction or do we want to do a standard 4.9 reduction to everyone?
I think that's the question. And that, I think, is kind of what the commission's done in the past is essentially our recommendation is the additional ask number. So our recommendation is the 717,358. But if council, you can't meet that number due to budgetary issues or other reasons, we have created a number that aligns with what we received in the current biennium. And so I think, yeah, as you mentioned, the task here is really, do we want to do the across the board reduction, or do we want to say, let's find that 35,000 within however many grants that takes? So
How about the fact that we had $1.3 million ask and 683 is less, almost half of that. That means 50% we can't help because
And I think we can put together a good narrative that, hey, here was what they originally asked, our due diligence, we were able to get down to 717. But if, the city is not willing to fund that, we can get down to the 683 with a 4.9% reduction, but that's not our preferred solution.
Chair, I think that's a great approach. I think the council would really appreciate to understand that you guys have worked to get to that 683 number. But I'm sure they'll be happy to hear, like, but we would prefer 717, but if so, we can get to the 683. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach.
Mhm.
And to me, taking it from everyone, because we've gone through all of the applications, is a more fair way
Right.
to do it. And, 5% is about inflation. So, raise us going from 683 to 717 doesn't seem unreasonable. But if the council can't do that, we've got their number.
And I don't think it'll break any of these services. It's only like 5%
Right.
less than they're asking for. So, the worst case scenario, I think they'll all do fine, but we would like to fund them if we can
Mhm.
fully.
So I think what we'll do is that August we don't have a meeting, but Mike and I will work on material, and then at our September meeting, we'll talk about the presentation and how it's going to be presented, and we'll hear from you as a commission, and then Mike and I may have something for you guys to look at, and then we can discuss how you want to present it. The meeting is in October. I believe we have a date. Mike, do we have a date?
I want to say October 8th, but that's still tentative. It could move.
So are we all agreeing to the 4.9 reduction, flat reduction instead of cherry picking? Are we all voting for that?
I think is that what we kind of agreed that we would do a 4.9%,
Somewhere within each one,
right?
not necessarily to each entity.
So unless we do it on each entity,
I-
I don't think we're reaching the goal. And that's what my point was. I vote for cherry picking instead of doing a flat reduction.
And yeah, no, I was recommending that we just 4.9 it across the board.
I would too. I mean, the problem I see is that if we were trying cherry pick, that would take a lot of time. There'd be a lot of discussion and a lot of disagreement on which.
Yeah, and I think that's the purpose.
So we're fair to everybody in this particular one, but our goal is to fund it all. And that I think, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think we can make a convincing case that to come up with the additional money.
So I somehow felt like in our discussions as well offline when we were finalizing the grants, there were some of them where we were like, we are on the fence, but okay, let's just give it to them. So wouldn't it be wise to revisit that list again to see if there are few which we were on the fence and we can cut down there instead of getting a good big dollar amount out from ones which had a big ask? If we were, I mean, let's give ourselves just one more chance to see if there were certain ones which are on the fence and we can just cut them instead of just doing a reduction. I mean,
I
that's what
think
my.
personally, I think you're opening a bit of a Pandora's box. And I think, Commissioner Mishra, I hear what you're saying, but I think all the subgroups really deep dive and did their due diligence to access those applications. And I think if Commissioner Varnes recommends this one needs more funding, then Commissioner Anna may have not read the application. And so that's just my perspective, but I'll leave it up to the commission.
Well, I think that we did already reduce some as we went through. Some of them, got zero. Some of them got 5,000 less than they asked. So I think we already did that thought
Mhm.
process of seeing what we can give them. Maybe it's not exactly what they asked, but I feel like we did that pretty well already in our group.
How about on the, on
Well,
other committees? Do you feel like we
Mental
went
wellness,
through?
for example, our two top are probably half of our mental wellness. That's the youth east side service pathways over here. And then the other one is also a youth east side service fully funding. So our 4.9 could not come out of those two. Those are sort of sacred city ones.
So
So
you
we'd
mean,
have to do our adjustment to something else that would probably be eliminated with any kind of funding.
Yeah, I think she's suggesting the cherry picking one. Because if she's saying like the 4.5 cannot apply to those two, then probably we can't have 4.5 apply to everything which our original plan is.
Can I just say, like, I don't think we can make that opinion. I know that if Crosspath didn't get that 4.9, they would still, then we'd have to go to every single organization and every single program and look and see, does that 4.9 reduction impact their service? And most of the time we don't fully fund an organization and they're still able to provide the service units. That's just my perspective. Yeah.
I think, the other alternative is that we basically kind of go split out for each of the groups and say, you have to reduce your group by, 15,000 or 10,000. Is that
Yeah.
preferable?
4.9 out of each of the 5 program areas you decide.
I mean, that's. we can go-
There's a lot in the basic needs, right? And I feel like with Commissioner Martin, we went through and did kind of the hard work of evaluating each of the programs for, what we thought we should fund, how much they're asking for. And so I just feel like it'd be a really difficult exercise to go through and find $15,000 across all of these programs with, individually.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I just feel like for that amount of money, that's probably the most fair way is to reduce them all, given the work that we've already done.
I tend to agree is that we do it across, but we still push for the extra 35,000. That's our primary goal. We focus on making a good, story on that. Yes, we've done this, we've done responsibility, but, you can do a lot more for just, 35,000 and versus sitting there trying to decide which group is, more valuable than others. So.
Mhm.
And they still see the 500,000 that we couldn't do.
And I don't speak on behalf of council, of course, but I know that this council is very supportive of human services and human services grants. And so I think if the commission comes at it with a very strong recommendation for the 717, that I would say it's more likely than not that they'll fund at that level as opposed to the 683.
And we make basically, we show them, hey, we coming in at 50% of what they asked for, 60% roughly of what was originally asked. But, if this council is willing to give us another 5% increase, we can fund everybody who we feel would help the city.
And I think that in many of the applications, they did say that their costs to increase were in salaries and in staff. So this is also
Inflation. So
inflation. I mean, and that's it. So that's what we're all experiencing, and that's where it went.
And keeping the staff at those nonprofits is so important.
Yes, yes.
With a fair funding, so they're not just going off and trying to find something that pays better.
Right, right. And losing that valuable resource there.
And, we're probably seeing more needs within Sammamish that even we're not aware of, because of the tougher economy and inflation and the layoffs.
I think we are focusing on making a stronger case for that extra 5% instead of putting our resources into seeing where we can do the cut.
But could you just refresh my memory on the seniors? I noticed there was 25 requested. Is there a program that
Yeah.
dropped or why
No,
did
no, so we there was an organization called Eastside Friends of Seniors that didn't submit their application on
that's
time.
right, yes.
But I will remind the commission that the city also funds a Beaver Lake Senior Program at 85,000 a year. So that's a very small number, only because we had Eastside Friends of Seniors not submit their application on time. But we also have the Beaver Lake Senior Programming. That's an additional, it's not part of this application process.
So the 85 can be continued.
I'll leave that to Mike.
That's a sort of a March thing.
Yeah, I believe there's broad support for the program, and so we're going to be budgeting for the continuation of the program and also probably increasing the budget a little bit to account for their actual
Oh, yeah.
expenses. So we're going to propose that to City Council as part of the budget, and then if that all goes through and the budget passes in November, then we'll execute a new contract for 25-26
Perfect.
in December. Mhm.
Will we have multiple groups competing like we did last time for that contract?
The plan isn't to go back out to ask for proposals because we just did that process 2 years ago, and the program is working well in staff's opinion.
We need a bigger facility. We need more rooms, we need
you
air
know,
conditioning.
Listen, Mike and I look really good in hard hats. So yeah, we're going to go build one.
Can we take over CWU? That's a political question, Mike.
Hey, I have a quick one. So if you scroll down to the seniors ones, please. Was there a reduction done of 4.5, 4.92 seniors category, or were we discussing the same thing?
Yeah, so I think we rounded up, and because seniors were such a small amount, so luckily it didn't impact them.
Oh, okay.
The huge amount that yeah, if you the other column, the little magic column in the middle, but then we rounded up and then it became the full ask.
And we're very, very much still missing a $20,000, missed the budget deadline.
I know, and I feel terrible. And unfortunately, they missed it by like 3 days, and we closed the application from an equity point of view. Like we have an application deadline, and we can't make the value judgment of like whether someone's allowed or not. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But we're working with them and we're checking with them, and yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that the current strategy is we'll go to the city commission council and say based on the amount of money you've gotten, here is our recommendations. We are requesting a 5% increase to meet all our recommendations. And hey, look, we reduced by 40% of all the requests through our due diligence. And does that seem like a good way to approach the city?
Or invite them to go through things and make some decisions.
Well,
This is just tonight's group.
Yeah. And also, yeah, Chair Benak, Mike and I will bring like some, as a commission, you'll look at it, you'll review it. If this is this is not Mike and I's request, it's your correct request. They've appointed you guys as commissioners. So we very much want to have your voice. And so we can have some suggestions. You can look at it in the September meeting, you can provide feedback, and then we'll definitely take that into account. Yeah.
And maybe if each of the groups out there will want to go out and perhaps do say hey, I think we can cut a little bit more out of their group. That would also be welcome as well. So.
Say that
if I
again?
could-
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, sure, certainly is. And over the break, each of the different groups that work can take a look at their own ones and decide maybe there's something there that maybe we shouldn't fund, or maybe we can fund a little bit less. That's, we're not saying they should do that, but this is something that, if we
I
want
think
to
it's
do
a fair ask.
Well, I thought that we decided if we were gonna have to take the cut, we were just gonna do it across the. I mean, that's fine
Yeah,
if people
I
want
mean-
want
Like,
to
we
do
can
that,
go
but
through
we
it,
can't,
yeah.
but either everyone has to do it or, it's kind of a all or nothing,
Sure.
in my mind.
And it would be great for staff to get some direction especially because we don't have a meeting in August, so that we can then kind of work on materials before the September 11th meeting.
Yep, and we'll be coming back at that September meeting with a memo, basically outlining all this. For those that have been on the commission before, it'll look probably very similar. And then also, most likely at that meeting, we'll have a draft PowerPoint. So typically what happens during that presentation to council, the recommendation to council, is that we'll have well, we've done it a couple different ways, right? We've had the chair and the vice chair present the recommendation on behalf of the commission.
Yep.
Or we've had a joint meeting between the commission and the council where all commissioners
Yeah.
participated.
Yeah, we've had options where like within the different subgroups, commissioners have spoken to that. As Mike said, the chair or the vice chair. And again, like, this is your agenda bill, this is your presentation to council. So, we'll provide materials, you can look at it, give us feedback, we'll amend those. And so we definitely want you to be comfortable when you're presenting to council.
No, I think that sounds good. So I think you're going to come back with a set of PowerPoint slides and that we'll kind of present and maybe we'll all just, I think kind of go and present it to the council.
Yeah, and we've also loved, again, it's up to you as a commission, but it's nice for them to see your shiny faces. And, and also I think you should be very, very proud. That's incredible. Like the number of applications that you reviewed, and the request and and the deep diving you did, and they should be able to, in the past, the council is always blown away, and I know Commissioner Bottenberg can speak to this, is always blown away about the expertise and the attention to detail that human service commissioners have.
Mike, you
sends a good
sent us the
message.
same spreadsheet, right? The one that you have up here, you'll send to us all?
Yep, I can provide the spreadsheet here in a few minutes.
In such a way that I can add column H?
I will send it in Excel format. You can add columns as many as you'd like.
I think everybody did a great job. So I want to be optimistic that the city will fund us 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I mean, it's.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation.
We came in within
Yes.
5% of what they're requesting.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
unheard of.
Right, after so much.
Good. Anything else we wanted to discuss on this or kind of the plan? I think in September, we'll kind of walk through the PowerPoints, our plan, our presentation, and
100%. And again, we'll provide you that material. It's not set in stone. We want it to be your presentation and your agenda bill. So, as a commission, you can just give us input and feedback and we'll work, to whatever you need.
excited.
Hmm?
Anything else on the?
Excuse me.
If not, do we have any staff reports?
Apologies, Chair. I thought this meeting was going to overrun and I didn't do a staff report. In full disclosure, I just assumed that we would be over time. And so Q2 reporting's coming. I have to get into that. What else? I am so sorry. I promise you at the next meeting it will be a robust report. But again, I really genuinely thought we wouldn't have time for me to give a staff report, so I apologize. But you can ask me questions, any questions. Feel free.
Where are you going on vacation?
Going to San Diego and then Mexico and then Vancouver, BC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Going to warmer climates, huh?
Oh, listen, we don't need are you kidding? This is yeah.
Great. Do we have any commissioner reports that people would like to bring?
I can speak to the fun that I've had with Tai Chi over at Beaver Lake Lodge on Wednesdays.
Mhm.
It's been really nice. There's a lot of people who are here for the summer for several months, so that's the occupancy is pretty full each time. I went to the night markets over at Crossroads back in June. I was there for a couple of hours of brilliant colors and great. It was the India Association running it. It was absolutely fantastic. And my Rotary Club is doing a beer garden for the August 16th with the Chamber of Commerce. I'll have you know that the request for proposal came to me at my sammamish.us address. And I was like, come on, this is the time we get the Chamber and the Rotary together on something, and it's working perfectly.
Commissioner Bottenberg, will there be wine?
Beer and wine, yes.
Thank you. All right.
Remlinger is donating the beer, and I can't remember who's doing the wine.
I
The
think
main
that
event.
It's the,
This is the 25th anniversary of our city. It's the birthday. It's called
Okay.
the Silver
Oh.
Jubilee on August 16th. And hopefully everybody's going to the July 16th meeting of the city council, 5:30 next week. RSV to Debbie Beadle or Mike.
Yep.
You have Mike's email.
He's the one taking RSVPs for
I know,
that
but you're
one.
close enough.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, happy to take your RSVP. That's going to be a lot of the past city council members and influential people in the city of Sammamish that will be coming at 5:30 p.m. before the council meeting, as Joyce mentioned on June 16th here next week.
And it's right here in this room?
Yeah, I believe it's in this room.
Okay.
Mhm.
when he says influential people, it's Mike and I are going to be there. Just saying.
Influential people.
Yeah.
You're going to be there, aren't you? Rita, you're going to be there, aren't you?
Any other commissioner reports? If not, how about next meeting agenda topics? Rita,
I guess we know what next week's
Yes.
agenda is.
going through the PowerPoint slides and
Just finalizing the plan for the council recommendation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
excellent. Do I hear any motion to adjourn?
Are you going to include discussion this time?
Oh, the discussion, which,
You know, when you take a motion, you have a second motion, then you have discussion.
oh, let's
You
see.
don't do that for adjournments anyway, don't worry.
Do I hear a discussion? Anything?
Yeah, I move that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you. And look, the farmer's market's still open.
Yeah.
Yes. Go try the snow cones.
Hey, yeah, you got 4 minutes.